plug my Stream Deck, typical. All right. So here I am with Art Storefronts photographer, Andrea Cross, and dear friend. And we are going to be taking some questions. Andrea normally runs is it Andrea or Andrea, by the way?
Whatever you want,
Yeah,
Patrick.
whatever. She normally runs a webinar on Tuesdays where she takes any questions from anyone. So you don't necessarily just need to hear it from the corporate mouthpiece, i.e. me, although I'm happy to answer your questions as well. But we're taking any and all questions. It can be anything marketing related. It can be anything Art Storefronts related, anything that you're struggling with. And like I said, Andrea's a customer. How long have you been a customer?
2 years this week, I think.
Where did that time go? That happens so fast. Right? So we're answering any and all questions. We want to help. What are you guys struggling with? It can be anything about anything. Instagram marketing. It can be about whether or not you should run ads. You shouldn't. It could be about how to do in-person fairs or shows. It can be about niche selection or branding or pricing, or whether or not you need a website. Is Instagram enough? Any and all of those questions we're endeavoring to answer. And like I said, there's an actual customer here, so you can ask her the real hard-hitting questions, and we'll see exactly how that goes out. Why don't you tell everybody what your niche is, just to give some clarity? Like, what is it?
Yeah, nature and landscape stuff mostly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you live where? In the beautiful island of
Vancouver Island in British Columbia, just off the coast of Vancouver, in a city named Victoria.
Yeah. Victoria.
Yeah.
Beautiful city too. Beautiful. All right. So you can see when we do this, like, until these brave souls, and I'm counting on you guys, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, start asking questions, you and I just have to fill the dead air. Now, Andrea is a trained actress. Okay. She was in Toronto, Hollywood. Is that what we call it? The Hollywood of Toronto?
Hollywood North
for quite some time, in learning her craft. So any questions you guys have, please do ask. And I will get the cell phone tuned up. One of the things today that we shared and that comes up all the time is Instagram and what my Instagram profile looks like. And so somebody offered Instagram audits, and my goodness, the sheer amount of comments we got is like staggering. Like, watch. Okay, yeah, you guys won't leave any comments now. Throw your Instagram handle in the chat and I will audit you, right? All of a sudden everything changes. Like, yeah. Okay. So Epon, it's so hard to read the names on Instagram, by the way, because they're like so truncated. Epont Vienne, I don't know how to pronounce that. Ask, where do you guys get your prints done and what are the prices? So we have 2 print vendors, one on the West Coast called Bay Photo, one on the East Coast called Graphic Dimensions, and all the pricing is wholesale, a little bit better than wholesale in some cases. For poor Andrea, because Canada and America are at loggerheads on trade, has to use a Canadian printer, so she has her own printer. But the prices that we get are a little bit better than wholesale. So that's how it goes. Susan's saying, I'm concerned my pricing isn't right. Okay, that's an easy one that I love to rant about all the time. Pricing is really just about a range. You have to have 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 plus. You need to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup. Very, very important that. But you can leave a comment with the words pricing, and we can answer it. So I got a question on Facebook. Is Instagram enough? Depends, right? Depends on what your revenue goals are. It certainly could be. There's certain people that have built their entire business on Instagram. I would certainly master Instagram before I would move to others. But I think Facebook is really important too, right? It's super, super important. Here's a good one for you because it's a photography question. I have photographs up. I have 2 books that I can put in a new gallery, but want to have them fulfilled by a different vendor. The individual prints in the other galleries are Bay Photo. Zero problem fulfilling a book elsewhere. Like, do the book wherever you can do the book. If you've got a vendor that you like, that is totally awesome, and I'm not concerned about that in the slightest. Like, what is the one line that I have all the time? Never met a revenue source I don't like. You should do a book too, Andrea, while we're at it.
No, I've had some requests. Yeah, it's on my list. Very long list.
Yeah, very long list. But you guys have the photographs, and I really think that, like, the book on the coffee table will drive the purchase of the wall art, and the wall art will drive the purchase of the coffee table book. I have a one on my coffee table right now that a customer was gracious enough to send to me, signed it, the whole thing, and now I want to buy one of their damn pieces because I keep looking at the book and my wife loves it, right? So, you know, that's a huge thing. Someone's asking about protection from AI bots. Do you have any idea how hot button a topic this is right now? Protection from AI bots. Sadly, there is none. There is none. You have to just approach it with, you know, AI bots and like the emergence of AI with, you know, it's a glass half full, glass half empty. I believe that AI is going to help artists and photographers everywhere be better at their craft and free up more time to focus on what matters. And I don't think it's going to hurt artists in the slightest. You know, in some fringe areas it will. But what's your take on the AI bots, Andrea?
Yeah,
Or just AI in general. AI in general.
I feel like certain niches of photography are going to get hit hard, like commercial, where a client wants a very specific thing. Well, they can just make it. So I think that's going to get hurt. But I also see a lot of resistance when people are like, well, that's not real. So I think there's a huge population who wants images that are actually of real things. And I think personally, the more we become dependent on AI and computers and are in our screens, the more we're going to want connection with real things outside of work. So I think for me, like in my images are a connection to nature. And I think that's going to become more valuable in the future.
Personally. Yeah, 100%. It's a super hot button issue. I can say what we've done at Art Storefronts, and Kate in Maui, I've seen your comments. I'll get to those in a second. And then we have one that someone who also lives on Vancouver Island. So I'm going to highlight that for you. What was I just saying? The AI thing. Oh yeah, you guys, it's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. You're going to be okay. You're going to be a-okay. Don't worry about it. It's totally out of our control. Number one, there's not a doggone thing you can do. What we do at Art Storefronts is we block all of the AI crawlers from our customer sites so they can't scan it. But guess what? Are you posting things on Instagram? Guess what the AI can scan? Instagram. Are you posting stuff on Facebook? Guess what AI can scan? Facebook, you know, at least currently. So there's the thing. So here's one for you. It's from Heather Marie Clark. She's also on Vancouver Island. Who is doing your merch? And do you have to self-fulfill each order?
Nice. No, Art Storefronts does have a Canadian printer that's automated on the back end of your website. So they're based in Toronto. That's Print Partner, and they're really great. I do use a local printer for some stuff. I'm in Victoria, so I use the Print Lab. They're really great. I use Guten, which is Art Storefront's automated fulfillment vendor for merch. Shipping is very expensive because it's in the States. So if I'm doing like an art fair or something, I'll purchase from a Canadian printer called Art of Wear. They're in Montreal. Yeah, so I kind of mix and match depending on my needs. And if I can save money on shipping, I will. But if it's automated through the website and people are okay with the price, like my mugs and stuff, yeah, it's just through the website through Guten.
Awesome. And shout out to, you know, fellow Victoria.
Yay! I wonder where you are.
All right. So Kate says, has ASF considered Threads as a viable platform to market in? I'm going to lose it on this one. Okay. I'm going to lose it. Did you start a Threads account, Andrea?
I started one, and then like the day after, well, then Omar put out that video on Facebook and was like, we're looking into it. We'll get back to you. And then he was like, a week later, he was like, no, don't bother. I was so happy I didn't waste my time.
Oh, so smart to know.
I have one, but I haven't used it. Yeah.
So here, you guys, here is the official policy on Threads, right? And I don't care if it's called Threads. I don't care if it's called Pinterest. I don't call it SEO, if it's called TikTok, whatever it is. We do not advocate you go to places where no one is selling any art and no one is making any money. If that changes and we get data that says like, oh, wow, some people are really, you know, on Threads and making incredible money selling art, we will advocate everyone go there. So it's not anything personal, although I do hate TikTok. It's not anything personal in the slightest, but I want to share with you something. Okay. The biggest joke about Threads, okay, is, and I'm picking on Mosseri. This guy's the head of Instagram. I actually really like his account. I think you guys should follow him. Anyway, do you notice it's his name, and right underneath it is the link to Threads? And so if you sign up on Instagram, there it is, front and center, right at the top of the page, the link to his Threads profile. what this is doing, okay, for you guys that are on Instagram, it is the most valuable platform that exists currently to sell art and photography. When you put a link on your profile, okay, to Threads, a place where no one is selling any art and almost no one is on, you're essentially putting an exit right next to the cash register of your store. It is the single solitary dumbest things you can do right now. Do not do that. Take it off your platform and rip it down. If for some reason, X goes bankrupt because it's just a Twitter replacement, then that might change. But for the time being, I would avoid it like the plague. That's just my 2 cents. Unless you want to just spend some margin time there because your friends are on there, whatever. All good, but do not interrupt your most valuable source of revenue, which is Instagram, the most important platform to sell art, which is Instagram. With an exit, like, hey, oh, were you interested in my art? You were about to send me a DM. You were about to click the link in my bio to go to my shop. Oh, and now, let me go look at Threads. And now I'm looking at cat videos and I'm gone. Do not do that. Do not do that. All right. How can I convert customers from Instagram to my website better? I don't think you necessarily need to worry about converting folks from your Instagram to your website. What I would way prefer everyone do is start conversations with the people on Instagram. You don't necessarily need them to come to your website. Get on the phone with them, send them into a Zoom, but ask the buying questions, which is really, really the key thing. I mean, you're marketing regularly, consistently on Instagram, are you not?
Yeah, it's been a bit tight because I took on a full-time job because I'm an idiot. So not as much right now, thank God for Copilot, but yes, I'm busy on there usually.
Yes, and you need to get busy on there again because you've got good things going on there. It's interesting, full circle. Are there POD companies that can handle all my merch without me needing a website or domain? Not really. I mean, you would have to take the orders yourself and then send them to the POD company. So why wouldn't you just have a website to do that for you automatically? Although I'm sure there are, full circle. Don't get hung up on it. Everyone's like, oh, I got to go get a POD company. I got to get a merch company. No, you don't. You need to get an order. After you get an order, the energy to figure out where you're going to fulfill that is so easy, right? Everyone stresses about the stuff that are easy to solve. What is the only hard thing to do? Get the order. Everything else, easy. And you have energy up. Has anyone ever sent their art images to companies that print your art on clothing? Have you done that?
Guten does, but I haven't printed one. I had somebody ask for t-shirts recently, so I think I'm going to look into it.
Yeah. But Lauren loves to paint. You can totally do it. And it's actually, so, back in the day, there was screen printing, right? This big machine that goes, zzz, zzz, zzz. They used to be in the clothing business way back in the day. And then they started making DTG printers, direct to garment. And so now there are literally vendors where there's no minimum order at all. You can send them one, they'll print and ship one, and it's awesome. It's an incredible way to do things. So that's what it is. She says there's a place in Montreal. Well, there you go, Montreal. If you're just tuning in, what we're doing here is Andrea normally runs webinars, okay, on Tuesdays, on Thursdays. There were some tech-related issues, which is really the Gmail thing, but we'll call them tech-related issues. So she's a customer. If you've got questions for her, you can ask her questions. If you've got questions for Loudmouth, i.e. me, you can ask me questions, and we will keep rolling through them. So far, the year 2024, as it's gone so far, how are sales? What does it look like? I know you've got a full-time job again, but what does it look like?
This is always my slow season. Last year, I feel like this year is going to be similar to last year. I had a really slow start. And I was on a lot of calls going, I don't know what's going on. And Omer helped me through a lot of hard days of figuring out how to keep going and what to do. And then I think it was beginning of October, I went camping. I came home to orders and I sold 4 times what I sold the year before between October and the end of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just always the fourth quarter is just the biggest deal, period.
Yeah.
And then it's been quiet so far. One interesting thing that I am seeing, and my data is a little flawed because it's all customers that are on the platform, right? I don't really dive into individual accounts, but that's not true. Sometimes I do, but overall art sales are up across the whole platform. Are up last week was 66% year over year.
Nice.
And I don't say that to toot our own horn. I say that to say art and photography is still selling, and that's incredibly encouraging because we're in like a weird economic malaise scenario. Like no one really knows what's going on. You know, inflation, everyone that's hitting all of us, the interest rates, the fact that things are still humming is like mega encouraging. So, you know, art and photography are still selling, but generally speaking, as we get out of winter, things start really improving, which is nice, you know, and picking up. Someone says, are you going to do prints on hats? On hats or print on demand in the future? Yeah, but hats would be interesting. I don't necessarily like any of the prints I've ever seen on hats personally. I way prefer the embroidery. The embroidery is a little bit more of a, I don't know if anyone's done that print on demand yet. That's a complicated process, but it would be cool if we did. We could do trucker hats maybe. Would you do hats?
Yeah, I do hats. I do anything somebody would buy.
Yeah. If Andrea gets an order, she's taking it. So there you go. But if you're just joining, any questions you have for me or for Andrea, we're answering them. We're answering them live because, you know, you got to go online and see these things. But Andrea, you can see, like, you can share a screen at any point in time. And, you know, I've got my phone down there. Anyone that's got a Mac down there can do it, which is awesome. And you can share videos at any point in time, which is also really cool. Like, you know, I want to share this video actually, and then Teal Frosted, I see your comment. I want to show you the ultimate power flex. Okay. And I love this guy. He's one of the, he's probably one of the top 10 best-selling artists in the United States already, I would guess, maybe even top 5. Maybe not there yet, but he's close. But this is the ultimate power flex. So when you have the gallery show, okay, and it finishes and you can do this, this is the ultimate, like, mic drop moment. Watch this. Oh, red dot on that one. Red dot on that one. That one's huge. Oh, red dot on that one. Red dot on that one. Red dot on that one. Sold. Red dot on that one. Red dot on that one. Red dot on that. Oh, he's giving us the shooters. So this guy walks through his entire show and he's like, red dot. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know who that guy is?
Yeah, I do. He's amazing.
Unbelievable.
What a painter. Yeah.
And I had there's an Art Storefronts customer, I'm not going to mention his name, that was in art school with him, and he's like, oh my God, he was so much better than all of us. You know, what he was doing with the brush and everything else. He's like, that guy's going to be huge. But I love that power flex of like, sold. Have you done a gallery show?
I did my first juried art show last summer, which was super exciting for me. I'd never done one before. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I did 2 talks while I was there. They gave artists opportunities. So I was like, heck, I'm going to get in front of people and, you know, make a connection with them. So that was really neat. I've developed at least one super fan out of that, where she bought 10 of my calendars this year and a bag, and everything I did, she bought a ton of stuff for me this year. So yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you get a collector. Interesting question here from Teal Frosted. So it's like, what are the best non-selling or best-selling non-wall art items? It's advisable for brand new artists. Whatever you can get your hands on, it doesn't even matter as long as it's non-wall art. The whole idea about like the merch is like, it's a 0 commitment purchase, right? Like I can say, like, you know, I don't have to talk to my significant other. Okay. I don't need to deliberate about it. I don't need to measure things on my wall. I can just buy it on a whim. Right. And so it's, you know, it can be anything. And I've seen people have success with everything. We have this one customer that hand paints wooden kitchen spoons. I think they like buy the wooden kitchen spoons on Amazon and like do their little like style on it. And those things sell like hotcakes. It could be that. It could be stickers. It could be photo books. It could be coasters. It could be anything. So anything that's easy for you to get, as long as you have it, you know, the math say you're going to end up acquiring way more customers. Lauren loves this paint, says, I love placemats. I love placemats. Andrea loves placemats. Like it honestly does not matter what it is. Generally speaking, for us though, I would love to see us offer more and more items, because why not? Like, you know, whatever you can do. Karen was asking what the painter's name is. I misspelled it. It's Mark Maggiore, and I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but he's clearly French, living in New Mexico or Arizona or something. Okay, when someone does a virtual art show from their home, where do you guys find the customers, art buyers that are interested in art? Yeah, it's just the marketing, right? Like, you have to have an audience to be able to be successful at it. What's cool about it though is that all it takes is an audience of one, Andrea. All it takes is one person in a Zoom call going through that personal art show where you're showing them the pieces. How quickly, if you had to do a virtual art show right now and show off a piece or two, you've got one on the wall right there, but do you have an inventory like where you're sitting?
Yeah, I can see like 4 pieces right now.
Go grab the smallest one. I literally want to see you pitch right now.
Smallest one? Oh, I got this one right here. You
Okay.
want to make me pitch right
Yes,
now?
right now. I'm taking myself out of this. We're gonna watch Andrea
Good.
pitch right now. I'm gonna watch. You're going full screen and give us
Okay.
a little bit of the story, what it is, what medium
All
it's on, and how would you say.
All right. Okay. So I have this piece. This is called Hidden Treasures. Woo, get it all in there. All right. This is Hidden Treasures. This is off the coast of Vancouver Island. Okay, there we go. It's on canvas. It's a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch thick. Already ready to hang for you. How much is this one? 160 on sale today only. And this piece for me is about, this is a beautiful beach, not easy to get to. Takes a water taxi and a hike through this crazy town that has no roads and no cars. And so this beach for me is about, taking the effort to find those beautiful places and not giving up. And when you put in the effort, it's worth it. You find these beautiful little hidden treasures, whether it's a destination or an experience or whatever. So that's what this piece means to me and is a reminder to me. I keep it on my wall to remind myself to keep going and keep looking for new experiences in life. Hidden treasures.
Wonderful. See, that's how easy you can have like a live or virtual art show. Now, granted, we're filming in portrait mode instead of horizontal mode, which is the worst way you could do it to try and show art off at all. Yeah. So don't do that. No, but you have to do it on Instagram. But it's literally that easy. Everyone thinks like you need to have this huge audience. Like audience of 1 totally works. You can do the live broadcast. You can record it. You can send it to people after the fact. You can send an individual direct message showing off the piece. I've got one that's a little bit more camera friendly. Like, here's my stock photography image of Positano. I'm sad to say it's a stock photography image, or I bought it from some site because don't ask me why I had to. But it's a prop. And it's like, show the thing off, show the size. I've actually been into this church. My friends tried to get married there, and they were very stringent upon the outfits, so they did not get married there. But I stayed in a hotel that was right up here somewhere. You can tell the stories like that and do it. And we, I advocate so hard for the live art shows all the time. I think they're so important. People were asking me what the artist name was against Mark Maggiore or Maggiore. Someone has to tell me how you pronounce his last name. I know he's French. How do you get your art noticed without social media? The cheapest way, the easiest way, have a garage sale, put a couple of your pieces on a table, and start having a conversation. You don't need to get it noticed by thousands. You need to get it noticed by a few people this weekend. Okay? Get rid of some of that surplus stuff you have in your garage that we all have in our garage. Okay? Or piled up wherever. I mean, Andrea, you have some surplus stuff in your garage, let's be honest, right? Mm-hmm. So get rid of some of that stuff, have a garage sale, and do that. Next easiest is a show or fair. Without social media, probably a little bit harder. Like, I'm embarrassed to say, but I like drove by the playground today, and which is like every time I got to my house, there's like a little park there. And I saw this young gal that was, I don't think it was her kid, I think she was the nanny, and she's like literally holding her phone up like this, like taking a selfie, like while pushing the baby trolley. And I'm like, just a poignant reminder of people are on their phones all day, every day, all the time. If you're not marketing to this, how are you getting their attention? Like, you have to. So, and you're on social media already. So I am not a dudette. It's so hard to figure out what these social handles are. But Andrew, this is way more questions than you would get normally, right? In a session. All about faceless content. If you still share it, not about your face. First of all, okay, Andrea, ex-actress here, okay? Easy for her to do. Me, face for radio, okay? I hate being on video. Why do you think I wear the hat and glasses? Because I don't want you to see me, okay? That's why I'm small down here in the bottom. You have to. You got to be contrarian about it, Marie, and you're going to be just fine. Being on video is just really, really important. It just is. And it's, next to being in person, face-to-face, is the next best way to do it. Are you leveraging video in your marketing?
That's like almost all I do. And, I was a professional actor for a lot of years, but it's different being yourself. And it was really strange when I started doing videos of myself and kind of seeing how I am. I was like, I'm a lot quirkier than I thought I was. And it was an adjustment period to go, okay, that's who I am. am I comfortable with that? No, I've gotten comfortable with
No.
it for years, you know, and it's
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable now. And I think I've hit a stride where, you know, for me, it's about being as authentic as possible. For my audience, they really resonate with that. The more authentic I am, the more reaction and feedback I get. And it's become quite fun because I'm not trying to be anything other than I am. I don't care about fancy videos. I just hold my phone and I'm like, here I'm in the woods and it's raining and I'm, you know, it's fun. I found a way to make it fun. I actually enjoy it now.
I see. You came around, and that's what it takes. Like, look, none of us have hair, none of us have makeup. Aside from her, none of us are actors. So you gotta just get on with it, right? Like, you have regular conversations all day with normal people. That's the exact same thing it is, right?
And I love,
So,
sorry, Patrick, I'm gonna cut you off. I love what you always say, and Art Storefronts always talks about is just the just ship it thing.
mhm.
So as artists, I don't know, probably most people on here, I'm a perfectionist. I want my videos to be cinematic and gorgeous, like
Mhm.
amazing videos that I see with the drones. And I'm like, I don't want to do it unless it can be like that. And I get that in my head, and then I never do the thing because I'm not ready. I don't have the right
Just gotta
equipment.
ship it. You gotta
And I
just ship
just
it.
kind of gave up on that. And I'm like, I'm just gonna put out what I feel are crappy videos and people love them because they're real. And at least I'm doing it and I'm getting sales without those super high end fancy videos that maybe one day I'll have time to figure out. But right now I don't. And it doesn't
Exactly right.
matter that
Doesn't
much.
matter. It doesn't matter. Do you know what that thing I like hang my hat on? And this might be a little morbid, but my buddy's dad is a pastor, and he would always say this: like, how many of you guys can name first name and last name of your great grandparents? Can you? No. And even the ones that say yes, it's like, name their parents, and no one can, right? And you're like, okay, we have such a short time on this earth. Everyone's busy. No one cares. No one's gonna remember, right? No one's gonna remember if you were terrible on video, or if you were nervous, or you spilled a glass of wine, or the cat knocked the camera sideways. Like, it's all good. It's all good. You got to just get on with it. You know, I think it's really, really important. IV Soul asked an interesting question. Do you have to keep up with an algorithm? An algorithm? What did I say? Algorithm for your marketing to work? No, no different than a comedian needs an audience to do his comedy, right? Like, the algorithm is just a proxy for, is this content interesting? You don't have to worry about tricking it. There's no magical formula, and even if there is, it changes all the time. All you have to worry about is being you, doing you, and seeing if you get a good reaction. If you do, the score takes care of itself. That's it. That's it. Like Andrea walking through the frozen northern tundra of Vancouver Island, getting to where she needs to go. We have one more question. You know what's crazy is there's been like 40 people online for this thing the whole entire time,
Oh,
like sustained,
cool.
right?
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. So do you think I should delete my poetry and pictures on my account? No, share all of it, because you never know what's going to work. You know, keep throwing all that stuff on there, and don't worry about it. Nikki French says, thank you for saying that, Andrea. So that was super encouraging, which is awesome.
Great.
Yeah, Andrea loves it, despite the fact she's an actress and trained to be on camera. So don't give her a pass, okay? Don't give her a pass. Someone's asking, how often do you guys go live? Probably right now, hours or times? Times like 20 a week. Hours probably 15 to 20, but we're experimenting with it. It's super impactful. Like, you know, Andrea was supposed to have the webinar today, right? And so she was going to have this Zoom session, and people were going to walk in, and they were going to, like, you know, be able to ask her any questions that they wanted. And what I find with the live broadcasts, and Andrea, you chime in, give me your 2 cents, like, with video and the fact that we can have these conversations, that we can respond, it's just like we have a store in the mall, you know, like we're the Apple store, and we open our doors and come on in. And if your device is broken, we can talk about that. If you want to buy something, we can talk about that. If you just want to get educated on the product, we can talk about that. But at least, like, you know, you're open and honest, and you can answer the questions, right? Lauren loves the paint, giving you a shout out for saying as much. You just made her feel better and safer about the reels. So thanks on that, right? You know, Andrea's doing it, right? What else? Art Storefronts. I've handed an artwork in the style that I'm not used to is horrible, so bad that it's funny. Should I post it on Oops? Oh yeah, 100% post like the worst stuff, right? Like, sometimes that gets the best reaction. Like, you never know, right? And Jeff Bezos always said, well, Andrea's giving you the version of ship it, right? Like, just post it. Do you know how easy it is to delete it later if you're embarrassed or you're like, this is just too weird? Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, right? You just go for it.
I posted an accidental post. It wasn't a bad post, but I posted it. I have a wedding Instagram. I haven't switched them yet. I have a wedding Instagram page and I have a fine art Instagram page, and I accidentally posted fine art on my wedding one. And I was like, oh, I got to take that off. And then I left it, turned into a $7,000 sale. So mistakes are good sometimes.
Yes. And I should say embarrassingly, like sometimes we'll put like, this is so terrible. I don't care. I'll admit it. Sometimes we move very quickly and there's like a typo in a Facebook or an Instagram ad that we're spending money on, right? And everyone corrects the spelling. And as a result of everyone correcting the spelling, it like charges up the engagement. Like we have one now that like waves and waved, is wrong, whatever. You end up like learning the most from the happy accidents. So just go for it, ship it. I mean, that's just absolutely what it is. Successful session, ton of questions. As usual, I talk too much, but if I wasn't here, Andrea would do way better. Are long lives showing the sausage making recommended to keep lives short? There's no magical length, and you can show the sausage making. Trust me, we're making the sausage right now. Like how does it all work? How does it all go? Andrea and I were laughing, having tech issues. I was having tech issues. It doesn't matter. There's no magical length, right? The hard thing about lives, have you done a single live aside from all these Zooms and everything else?
Yeah.
Yeah. The hard thing about them early on is you don't get a huge audience, but you build and you get a bigger and bigger audience. And then when the live is over, you save it and then it becomes a part of your feed and then it's content there that lives. So it's extremely powerful. Any closing remarks, Andrea, before we wrap it up? We could have gone for more time, but 30 minutes on our first one. I'm excited about this. We got a ton of questions. Feel good about it.
Good. Yeah. No, I think the biggest takeaway is stay out of your head as an artist when it comes to your marketing. Save your perfectionism for your art. And when it comes to marketing, just do it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And if it's crap, just throw it out there anyway. And sometimes people love watching you fall flat on your face. It's fine. They don't know you anyways. I don't know. That's my take. I put everything out there.
Yeah.
It's too hard to make it perfect.
It's too hard to make it perfect. Like the perfection is just the enemy, that just kills careers. Nothing gets done. It's way better to get the thing in the water, especially early on. Huge thanks. That was awesome. Very successful first one. Stay on because I want to keep talking to you about something. Everyone else, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your evening.